Kubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Ka Federation of Khasi Jaintia and Garos People hanegasngi kalai kendu yo menteri ketenat boarding ujem sangma halor lai teli kimat kata habai dai bat kalut shedding kajingthung yo MK Chatri kumu director distribution jangka Meghalaya Powers Distribution Corporation Limited mat halor ka annual maintenance ya ki substation ha kajla ha ka ba ketenat mentah kemud ban IT no Shakwe pat ki company shimet Kawairu kamat kaba ka Fkjgp kalaya keren bat menteri ketenat boarding kadai halor ki kam kontraktual ba ka sorkar kadai banbut ya ka reservation polisi habai keren bat kilat patai kebor hadin kejingya kendo bat menteri na kaleng kinongelam kaseng Fkjgp kelapan pau ba ketenat kadon sangut ki officer kiba hakmat ban ya UMK Chatri kiba bit ban shimti ya kene kakam habai dai berkejing perleb lait kha kaseng kelapan pau ba ka sorkar kadai ban penbiang ya ka boarding Ngim tip na ai kinyo hanrai kadai ban penbiang namar Ngim Kwah bagi Khynnah Pule kiba don hapdeng ki exam baper kin Shah Ktah habai dai bat katung kam tung jam nagalyang jong kinongelam kaseng kaliyang scam bagi dai ban but ya reservation policy Hakaba nakalyang jong menteri ketenat boarding u James sangma ulaong baun sapek ya kata namar kilong kimat ke badon kam habai keren pat badu menteri ketenat boarding u James sangma halor kini kimat baka Fkjgp kalai kendo ulai itu habai adai bat kelut shiding ke sorkar kakwa bakan don baik tang kumba labu kata lai kenta hak shisngi habai dai pat bat gejing thung yau MK Chatri kumu director jongka distribution nagalyang menteri ulaong ba yakani kaladon ka panel kabala jet hakaba nakalyang jongkani ka panel kala jet yau ni officer baun shimti yakani ka kam
kali por nakalyang jongka FKJP sengme ngilawan banyak kendu yau Prime Minister James Speaker sangma kalor South East Benta Kemenkong kalau bang iwan kedua itu boleh bakal yang load shedding, bah nak kalian ngejong minister orang pentau ngejeng ya, bah kalau kay berpelong ya ketika mau mereka ke department jogu ban leh load shedding, te nak kalian ngejong ini isu request itu bah dah di menteri kam kena gini load shedding itu kami Ktah jadi samla puli ngejong ini kita untuk create ke exam bakal kan ngejalan ngejong ini, te kebar pat kadeh halor ketika appointment, kebar nak kalian ke department kalau thung UAU Chetri kum director jaga distribution kaba kat kum kejing tip information bangi kalau bau lah supersede yaki senior officer khasi officer jangi kumba sangut ai tinggal akta ngau kudu minister pada kali ngaju uru ulah pongto sampai khat ke bari benle tiga balai ni keren sepang ini kata annual maintenance operational maintenance jangi substation Tinggi kini buruk sekata yang kini substation la maintenance si dapat apa department. Hari mentah apa nak kalian juga department so kendet lah kini kan outsource no Sabah cek teki PSU Sabah. Jika jumlah concern kejungi jika selai kejungi kalau makan jauh itu tidak mentah ni jadi nongtrai mentah kita perlu nama kejungi kita juli ketika operation and maintenance contact substation. Dan nak kalian juga minister ulang batu yang kan dia rumah sampai saya rumah bahatam dan make sure bahawa kata kam kajam jogi review jogi kita tering taruh kan kini num syakat kan num do no lada lahan kena kata ya kata maintenance kini outsource ke company berapa jika pala pasal kalau mah ni crunch pang yang kini beli ya contractual itu officer repair laong bakim dan bentah pokok kini hak nekim dan bentah pokok reservation policy tinggi ngilakkan pada kalau kami tegi Shah bahkan sarkar ni kalau kadang ngimio ke officer ke betul makin dan ban advice ne bandar bentah sarkar kemudian ketika datang ngimio kita sendiri dengan tuna mereka pun jadi siang kami kalau bun ke officer betul kalau balas waktu makan harus keluar ban bandar mentah pokok government bekerja dengan government dengan government empat kali government empat pada yang bagi sini dia benar-benar dan kalian jong minister ini habis kalian ini contractual business bagi officer repair dan kalian jong tu orang bah keluar rahmat kami bah unsalnya no yang tak unsapa atau ada berpersiang bah yang ini contractual business tu even buat baik ketungka teka ada is a huge burden nampak jelah di berbagai kimlah menteri yang tak dues kemudian di company boarding for supply state Di bala Ktah ru yang bagi lah persang ni bagian leh sinua lah nanti umnu ban laj na negeri lu chading. Kawai
ya keren ini kawai dai berkani kajing tap di kam beri ki kontraktual. Tiga tur ni lo ombet bakai misial kariban follow bet ya ka reception policy. Kenang bagi beri jangi kini kam. Nomor kumbolong mentang ya misial akhir orang bun ni beri nabar. Tiga kani begini Shah yang bakariban follow ya ka reception policy. Kamla punya ilan.
Ni kai ka daw ko minister ba government kam follow reservation policy na ba ide kam contractual ka bani in for house Kiba ba yakini di post dari contractual appointment tu ka reservation policy das not apply.
Em nak kalian kecungi Ngim mo. Kidon ki central government mene ngala ai kata ka keren mene kata tengah ai ke argument. Mong bala kidon ki central office Kiba outsource ya kini ki post ki bered umur ki food grade. Jadi outsource ki yang baik make sure ba fin board ya social policy. Tengi yang orang kidon katu ni central government ki board. Dia kan dan jinge ki misal ban board. Mar kanir kawan haju ketika employment kawangi keren ni ko kami ojang. Tila lada ka government ka stand on halor kata ka benta on ba kam trikam they can create ka present na Shah in future. Tila ki samna jungi ki kam she gin. Tingyong once pelade hita ka government department they ban board ya ka solution policy. Muna ban pwede. Tuwang nakaliang kajing keren jong minister wong ba kita ki point ki ba ngan haban ya keren ba kilong valid ki point wong ba wa appreciate ya ta ba unsa pet ya ta kam kanang ba ka reception policy ka di pun mo tani la chor kita
Kebetulan ini kalau mau sedang di department yang umum, pengembangan sedang di department, ya kayak suggestion bagi saya ini pasang, pengembangan sedang apa ke department, but contractual business ini nanti smart di mana, buat itu ada.
Iklan beli bahkan mu persentage di beri di mana di bayu kam di kontrak.
Ki kejuan jungi kalau ni mo ni wan lagi isu. Ni kran Jepang katu ka ni kong belong ni sekretari mana. Ni kran Jepang kajing appoint you sekretari. Ban supersede ki beri bijangi. Pi ngilong kran Shah you minister ba kamdai ngilong komna. Hele ni kran ya ka justification. Abagi beri kidan ki bala senior you kung syura university sejrong. Temu ka deprive ya ka hak tung ki waipan. Te kata diga ban kong ni kran kadang ni kran bitik ru bat ka badai bat kani ka load shedding. Magi school mutai gilawan ya long exam but kindom ki bandang long exam ni shkman. Tingyong kadi kamram jong government ban pej ba ki student communities kamli ban kata kamtam ki exam. Kadi kamram jong government pej kata kale kamno ka pan yo alai nang no kata nang no ngi yumtem. Kadi kamram jong government kamram jong misial ban pej ba ki samla ki ban yele ki exam ki balaile menta ba ki ban sele ki mli ban chakta. Ini session kaya gini yang ba, pi simlat nang no pi keren barno kata kamdai ka lokal bejangi, ketika responsibility jeng ka government. Bahkan pej kita bero ba, kalau shooting kamdai ban kata ya ki Khynnah ki barang Pule exam, kamdai ban kata ikat timing Pule kot jeng ki student. Ya kata nggak kerja kata. Merkumulong mentale ka exam ki Khynnah bun apa school ke jingkai ki mi ba. Ya depend entirely na ka capacity le jong, capability le jong. Ya biar depend entirely naka hard work lajong. Tela ka literacy kambiang ko nating grade exam.
Abdi ini ki program pokok ka demi CL. Ni bon tak dawa berdepan. Tokit nak plot ini ki jinja. Kamtam beru ka kambab sam. Ida baka ki ka don plot ni ki dawa dulu bon.
Di yang naka seng itu mentaro kalau mang kampung krikti mo. Ngidang nomor ban Ngim ong bagi alej lei bagi yosno mo vi heard pakadon kata kadi kamera jangi bagi walk out Shah bagi yo kadi concrete documents nang bagi nak justify la kata kan bagi yang Indonesia dan dai pat kapur nganu ban ong ni bagi nang ya smart ni dengan try inspect benar benawan dengan yo khat lagi jing sisa mo tastan go biang ka karong go biang tinggal lah ban mi pakta bagi misalnya la ha ban dawai minister bonun hiaski dawai tar
Of the Fkjgp met me just now at my office chamber, and they have raised 3 issues. Namely, one is regarding the frequent load shedding, the power cuts that are taking place,
for which I have told them that there are many issues which are the cause for all the load shedding that's taking place. And these are issues which we are trying to resolve, from our level, and we should be able to, stick to just the 3-hour load shedding that has been already notified, and not more than that. With this position comes a great amount of responsibility, and I understand the fact that whatever demands that are coming about is because of the genuine concerns that they have for the people, and that is something that I feel that I do not hold anything against all those people who have demanded for my removal. But the fact of the matter is that it's something that we as a team collectively be trying to resolve. These are issues which have been pending for a long time, and I don't know if any person, even if any other person were there, could resolve these issues at this given point of time. It would be very, very challenging, very difficult for anybody, so it's not just about me, but I'm very thankful for those people who understand the fact that this is not an easy situation, who understand the fact that this is a crisis that has built up over many years without blaming anybody. Who have understood that whatever steps and measures we as a government we're trying to put in will take will take a little bit of time to have the desired effect and results, which will bring about tangible results. So I appreciate those people who understand that and have been supportive of me. But again, having said that, I don't hold anything against those people who are asking for my demand, who are asking for my removal. But they are very much out of concern that they're raising these kind of issues. So that's okay with me. Make sure that the load shedding is confined or restricted to only 3 hours for domestic consumers, which is already there, because there have been many things which have caused disruption in our power supply, for which, as you must have noticed, last night there was additional power load shedding, but that we have addressed it, and we're hopeful that we will be able to just stick to 3 hours of load shedding for domestic, and I think about 10 hours to 12 hours for industries. So this is something is regretted, but we are trying our level best to ensure that students are not affected, because these are times, these are examination times, and many students are appearing for online examinations, and we understand that it is imperative and very important that they should get uninterrupted supply of power at this juncture, especially when they're writing exams. So we are mindful of that, and we're trying to work in such a manner that this kind of inconvenience is not passed on to students. Yes, there are many issues that have come up in terms of our own generation from our own generating stations, because of the kind of pressure that was there in the last few weeks and the month, that we've had to push our own generating units for power. So that is definitely taking an impact, and the fact that our units are not being able to go perform efficiently because of the delay in the monsoons. So it has caused a slight shortage in our requirement, shortage in the kind of power that was coming in. So because of which there was an unscheduled load shedding that took place, but we've been able to take that issue up and resolve it, and we're hoping that today it will go back and revert back to only the 3 hours of load shedding for the public, and about 10 to 12 hours of load shedding for the industries. On that, because the situation is very fluid right now, many things are there which factors which contribute to us having to load shed. So as of now, we're just continuing with 3 hours, and we are also looking at how we can find ways and means of addressing the shortage by maybe buying additional power in this open market. And from that, we are trying to make sure that enough power is made available to domestic consumers, because we are mindful of the fact and concerned that students are appearing for their exams, and these exams are all in virtual format, means they're all online, and for that an uninterrupted power supply is required. So keeping all those into consideration, we are trying our level best to make sure that power is made available at the right time.
So,
Towards having a system in place which will ensure that for the next 1 year we will not have such kind of problems. But it's not easy. It's very challenging for us right now. Most of our generating stations are all demanding that we settle all the outstanding dues that are due to them. But that is very difficult, because right now Atmanirbhar loan, we have complied with whatever requirements was required with the Government of India, with Ministry of Power, and now the ball actually lies in the court of REC PFC as to how fast they can release our second tranche of the Atmanirbhar loan. So many factors are there which are not within our power, and which will be dependent on how fast Government of India processes the second tranche and makes it available to generating stations. Meanwhile, the generating stations are very keen, and they are pressurizing us to release it at the earliest, which is why you see all these regulation notices coming about. As I said, there is a due process, that has to be followed, and we have taken, that process into mind while appointing any officer. So, in terms of supersession, there are certain officers who were not eligible. So the question of supersession does not arise in most of the engineers. So there is a panel which is given to the government, and accordingly, the panel selects the concerned officer regarding the appointment of an officer who has been appointed recently as Director Distribution. And I've told them that due process is there, and due process has been followed, and some officers do not qualify, because the post of Director Distribution is for an engineer meant from electrical background. So there are some officers who are from civil background, they have not qualified. Some officers have not qualified because they have a certain case that is pending against them. So there are many issues which are there, and due diligence has been followed. But nonetheless, I will have a look at the matter, and I will have it examined. I gave them the assurance. Since many things are coming to light recently, the government is seriously considering constituting an inquiry, be it departmental inquiry, or maybe at a judicial inquiry, or whatever it may be, in whatever form it may be. But I think that such kind of inquiry into things would be, I think, in the fitness of things, because there is an urgent need, because all these things are now tumbling out of the closet, right? Skeletons coming out of the closet, that there was a lot of power theft going on, a lot of loss to the revenue of the NACL, not just from power theft but from other practices that involve nepotism. So these kind of things are there, which I think needs a closer inspection or a closer look into, and we are very seriously contemplating that right now. I would not like to jump to conclusions here, but if the inquiry that we constitute or institute does bring to light the involvement of engineers or officers who have been the cause of the immense losses to MECL, because one very conservative estimation which has been given to me is that in a year, MECL from these kind of power thefts must have lost more than 100 crores in a year. Now that is a phenomenal figure. 100 crores of loss in a year. If it had been avoided, then we could have paid salaries. We could have made sure that the dues of the generating companies and the transmission companies could have been paid on time. Many of our the issues which are plaguing MECL could have been resolved. So it's a very although it's a conservative estimation, but I think it's an indication of the fact that the rot lies very deep, and also the rot has had a very significant impact in the functioning of the organization. So from that point of view, I would like to send out a message that such kind of practices, if they are found to be true, if there is involvement of officers, then we will not spare anyone.